Welcome to The Explainer. I'm your host, Kartik Nilekar, and today we're unpacking something truly wild. We're looking at the spectacular, multi-generational rise of the Birla family empire. Seriously, this is a story about incredible vision, mind-boggling scale, and most importantly, actual lessons you can use to grow your own career or business. So let's get right into it. So here's the massive question we need to answer today. How exactly does a single dusty cotton shop in Pilani, Rajasthan transform into an absolute global powerhouse spanning 36 different countries? I mean, whether you're in Asia, Europe, Africa, or the Americas, this family has literally been quietly powering India's global story for over a century. You might not see the Birla name slapped on every single product you buy, but odds are you're living in something they built, wearing something they manufactured, or using the telecom networks they power. It's everywhere. We've got a really packed agenda for you today. We're going to quickly track their historical origins, then analyze how they scaled into a global powerhouse, look at their modern innovations, see what the next generation is up to, and wrap up with exactly how you can land a career at Aditya Birla today. All right, part one, the Birla Empire origins. Let's trace the roots of this incredible journey. Now, what's so fascinating here is how each generation basically grabbed the baton and ran with it, perfectly adapting to their specific era. Back in the 1800s, Seth Shiv Narayan Birla planted the very first seed. He stepped out of Pilani, headed to Ahmedabad to trade cotton and opium. And get this, he even chartered cargo ships just to bypass British middlemen. That is a huge move for the time. Then, by 1887, Baldio Das Birla moved the trading house over to Calcutta. But honestly, it was G.D. Birla who took that trading seed and grew it into a full-blown industrial giant. He started trading jute in 1911, owned a mill by 1919, and after 1947, he aggressively pushed into rayon with Grasim and heavy metals with Hindalco. And here is a crucial detail to remember. G.D. Birla wasn't just building a company, he was literally helping build a nation. During the Swadeshi movement, Indian merchants were actively trying to take over industries that were previously dominated by the British. G.D. Birla was actually a close confidant of Mahatma Gandhi and leaders like Sardar Patel. This meant he played a really pivotal role in funding and supporting India's independence movement. He wasn't just chasing the bottom line, he was weaving his business into the very fabric of a brand new nation. Moving right along to part two, scaling a global powerhouse. How exactly do you take a thriving national business and take it global? Well, in 1995, the company faced its absolute biggest test when tragedy struck. Aditya Vikram Birla passed away, and suddenly his son Kumar Mangalam Birla had to take charge. He was only 28 years old. You can imagine the market was just full of doubts. Could someone so incredibly young manage a sprawling empire like this? But against all odds, Kumar Mangalam Birla stepped right up. He anchored the group and brilliantly executed a vision to globalize the empire way beyond what anyone expected. So, how did he do it? Strict discipline and a massive long-term vision. They didn't just survive this transition, they expanded super aggressively. He led the acquisition of Novelis, which, by the way, was a landmark outbound deal for India at the time. Fast forward to today, and they're operating in over 36 countries with a workforce of over 1 lakh employees. That is 100,000 people. Plus, they were smart about it. They diversified into telecom, they went into financial services with Aditya Birla Capital, and hit retail hard with Aditya Birla Fashion. Talk about a massive footprint. Now, if you really want to know what makes a company bulletproof, you have to look under the hood at their fundamentals. And this data is just fantastic. A current ratio of 2.89, that means they have nearly 3 times more current assets than liabilities. That is incredible short-term health. Then you look at the debt-to-equity ratio, a super low 0.23, which shows they are highly responsible with their capital structure. And with an inventory turnover of 2.59, they're clearing out and replacing their inventory roughly every 81 days. If you're analyzing stocks or trying to figure out what a healthy business model looks like to emulate, these are exactly the kind of rock-solid numbers you want to see. All of that strategic expansion, rigorous diversification, and strictly disciplined finance leads to this mind-blowing number right here, a $112 billion valuation. Let that sink in. Over half of their revenue now comes from outside of India. It's the kind of epic success story that proves when you pair raw ambition with strategic, disciplined execution, the sky's literally the limit. Okay, moving to part 3. Innovation and modern growth. You don't stay at the top by resting on your laurels, right? You absolutely have to evolve. And Aditya Birla is heavily investing in research and development to future-proof their businesses. They use the Aditya Birla Science and Technology Company as this massive global R&D hub. Novelis alone has locked down over 130 patents just for automotive aluminum. Then there's Birla Cellulose. They came up with Leva, a totally new age fabric made from renewable wood pulp. And let's talk about Ultratech Cement. They're an absolute giant in the industry, yet they now source a whopping 46% of their power from green energy. Oh, and my favorite stat here. Birla Opus Paints. They launched in 2024 and skyrocketed to become India's third largest decorative paint brand in about a year. Just 1 year. It just goes to show what happens when you spot a market need and attack it with massive scale. That brings us to part 4, the next generation. Because right now, a totally new generation is stepping into the boardroom. And their approach to leadership is something every single entrepreneur needs to hear. Check this out. Ananya Birla founded Swatantra Microfin when she was only 17 years old to empower rural women, and she grew it to over 17,000 crores in assets under management. Oh, and by the way, she's also a platinum-selling music artist on the side. No big deal, right? Meanwhile, Aryaman Birla was a first-class cricketer before taking the reins at their digital platform, TMRW, where he's driving their bets on startups and direct-to-consumer brands. Here's the key. They had to prove their serious chops in the open market before they were officially brought onto the boards of major subsidiaries like Grasim and Hindalco. This philosophy is perfectly captured by Kumar Mangalaman Birla himself. He says the position can be inherited, but the performance needs to be earned. That is so powerful. It doesn't matter if you have the family name or if you're building a startup from scratch in your garage, you absolutely have to earn your stripes through real, measurable performance. Performance is the ultimate currency. Which brings us to our final section, careers at Aditya Birla. How can you actually get a piece of this action? How do you earn your own stripes in a company with 100,000 employees? Well, they actually pledge a super transparent, equitable recruitment process. It basically boils down to these 4 straightforward steps. They are actively hunting for talent across so many sectors: digital tech, finance, heavy metals, retail, you name it. You start by hitting up their dedicated job portal. You apply for the roles that fit your skills, you knock out their standard 3-round interview process, and then hopefully you get that offer and onboard. But let's be real, to actually land the job, you've got to stand out from the crowd. Thankfully, their official recruitment team gives us the exact playbook. First up, you need a sharp, engaging elevator pitch about yourself. Practice it until it's perfect. Second, leverage the power of 3. When they ask about your strengths, don't just ramble. Give them 3 specific strengths and immediately back them up with real-world examples. Third, make absolutely sure you map your skills to their core values, which are customer obsession and long-term value. And lastly, it sounds basic, but their own recruiters emphasize this. Stay hydrated and eat a light, balanced meal before you go in so your brain is firing on all cylinders. From a dusty little cotton shop in Rajasthan to a $112 billion global empire, the Birla story is an absolute masterclass in resilience and strategic growth. Listen, if you've found these insights valuable for your own development, please hit that subscribe button, drop a like, share this with a friend, and definitely let me know your feedback in the comments below. Join me so we can continue to grow and develop together. I'm Kartik Nilekar, and thank you so much for hanging out with me today on this explainer. The legacy of this powerhouse was built over a whole century, but I want to leave you with this one question. Will you be the next chapter in their story?